Startups are exciting, but they're also pressure cookers. The stakes are high, the pace is relentless, and the lines between personal and professional often blur. In this environment, conflict isn't just likely, it's inevitable. Co founder disputes and team conflicts are not anomalies, they're part of the entrepreneurial journey. What separates thriving startups from those that implode is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to manage it productively. This isn't about eliminating disagreements, it's about channeling tension into better decisions, stronger alignment, and ultimately healthier companies. Today, we'll explore why conflict management is essential, what the common sources are, and how you can adopt strategies that turn potential crises into catalysts for growth. Conflict management matters because it is directly tied to survival. First, consider the top failure driver. Research consistently shows that co founder disputes rank as one of the leading causes of startup failure after the initial funding is secured. Many great ideas and promising products have died, not because the market rejected them, but because the team fractured from within. Second, unresolved conflict is a performance killer. Team disputes erode morale, slow down decision making, and corrode trust. When mistrust sets in, collaboration collapses and execution slows to a crawl. Third, conflict can also be an innovation catalyst. Healthy tension, when managed with respect and structure, sparks creativity. Differing perspectives, when openly discussed, often lead to breakthrough ideas that a harmonious but complacent team might miss. Finally, successful founders adopt a proactive mindset. They don't wait for conflict to erupt into crisis. Instead, they approach conflict management as a preventive discipline, creating agreements, systems, and cultural norms that prevent disputes from escalating. The reality is simple: conflict is inevitable, but dysfunction is optional. With the right approach, you can turn disagreements into a force for progress rather than destruction. Co-founder conflicts often stem from decisions made too quickly during the initial excitement of starting a company. One of the biggest triggers is equity splits. If ownership percentages feel misaligned with actual contributions, resentment builds. Perceived unfairness can linger for years, even if the split was meant to be equal. The second source is vision misalignment. Co-founders may share enthusiasm at the start, but diverge in their long-term goals. One may want to build a global empire, while another may be satisfied with a profitable niche business. When priorities differ, every strategic decision becomes a battle. The third source is role confusion. Without clear definitions of responsibilities, overlap occurs. Accountability gaps emerge, and co-founders step on each other's toes. This leads to frustration and inefficiency. The fourth is workload imbalance. If one founder consistently carries more of the operational burden, resentment builds quickly. Even if unintentional, this imbalance undermines trust and collaboration. These conflicts are not inevitable outcomes, they are predictable risks. The key is to address them early with clarity, documentation, and open dialogue. Beyond co-founders, team-wide conflicts are equally common and can erode performance if ignored. The first source is communication gaps. Misunderstandings between departments like engineering, sales, and operations create silos and mistrust. Without deliberate communication, teams drift apart. The second is resource constraints. Startups always have limited budgets, time, and people. Competing for scarce resources naturally creates tension between functions and priorities. The third is cultural mismatches. As teens grow, different personalities and backgrounds come together. Without intentional team building and inclusion, clashes are inevitable. The fourth is decision opacity. When major decisions are made behind closed doors without explanation, teams feel excluded. This breeds speculation, resentment, and disengagement. Each of these sources can be mitigated with transparency, clarity, and proactive systems. Ignored, they grow into dysfunction that saps energy and focus. Managing conflict requires deliberate frameworks. Four strategies are particularly effective. First, establish clear agreements early. Document equity splits, role definitions, and vision alignment before conflicts arise. Founder agreements that spell out decision making processes reduce ambiguity and prevent disputes. Second, foster open communication. Build a culture where respectful disagreement is encouraged. Regular check ins, candid feedback sessions, and an environment of psychological safety prevent small issues from festering. Third, use structured tools. Implement regular one on one meetings, team retrospectives, and formal mediation processes when needed. These tools give structure to difficult conversations and prevent escalation. Fourth, engage neutral advisors. When conflicts cannot be resolved internally, experienced advisors or board members can provide objective perspectives. Their neutrality allows them to mediate without personal stakes clouding judgment. The goal of these strategies is not to eliminate conflict, but to channel it productively. Healthy disagreements can sharpen ideas, strengthen trust, and improve decisions if managed well. History provides powerful lessons about how co-founder and team conflicts shape outcomes. At Facebook, co-founder fallout with Eduardo Severin led to expensive lawsuits and major distractions during critical growth phases. The legal battles consumed time and energy that could have gone into building the business. At Snapchat, early team conflicts reshaped ownership stakes and forced legal intervention. The company survived, but the disputes permanently altered its structure and relationships. By contrast, Airbnb demonstrates the positive model. Its co founders invested in strong alignment, transparent communication, and consistent conflict management practices. This allowed them to survive multiple existential crises and emerge stronger as a team. The lesson is clear: conflict doesn't have to kill startups, but unmanaged conflict often does. The companies that thrive are those that treat conflict not as something to avoid, but as something to actively manage and learn from. Co-founder and team conflicts are not signs of weakness, they are part of the startup journey. What determines your success is how you handle them. Conflict management matters because disputes are one of the leading causes of failure. Co-founder disagreements often stem from equity, vision, roles, or workload. Teen conflicts emerge from communication gaps, resource constraints, cultural mismatches, and opaque decisions. But none of these are insurmountable. Best founders establish agreements early, foster open communication, use structured tools, and involve neutral advisors when needed. They don't fear conflict, they channel it. The stories of Facebook, Snapchat, and Airbnb illustrate the stakes. Poorly managed conflict drains resources and derails progress, while healthy conflict builds resilience and strengthens culture. The final takeaway is this: conflict isn't the enemy. Silence, avoidance, and mistrust are. Treat conflict as a process, not a problem. Approach it proactively, structure it thoughtfully, and use it to spark innovation rather than dysfunction. Do that, and you won't just manage conflicts, you'll transform them into competitive advantages.